All right, let's dive into the AI race. We're talking high stakes, billions of dollars, and a battle between tech's biggest titans. For a while there, it really looked like one company had it all locked up. But as we're about to see, things are changing, and they're changing fast. Not too long ago, it felt like the story was already written. Microsoft, with its huge, super early investment in OpenAI, was the undisputed king of the hill. They were first, they were aggressive, and wow, did the market reward them for it. It honestly felt like the race was over before it even really started. But here's the thing. What if that was just the opening act? What if being first out of the gate isn't the same as being the best? Because lately, we're seeing signs that Microsoft's supposedly solid lead is starting to look, well, a little shaky. So let's get into it and figure out what's really going on. To really get what's happening here, we've got to look past all the flashy headlines and big announcements. We need to dig into the numbers, and more importantly, into the products themselves. And that's exactly where we start to see the first cracks appearing. And this is what's so telling. These aren't just opinions from critics. These are signals coming from inside Microsoft. Reports are saying the company has had to cut its own sales goals for its big Azure AI services. And the reason they're giving? A lack of customer demand. That is a massive red flag, especially when it's coming from inside the house. Okay, so you've got these internal struggles, right? Well, now we're starting to see them spill out into the open, into the public data. This isn't just about meeting sales targets anymore. This is about real people, every day, choosing which tools they want to use. And the numbers, well, they tell a pretty surprising story. Get ready for this. 2%. That's the estimated user growth for Microsoft's big flagship AI, Copilot, over a quarter. For a product that's supposed to be at the very center of this huge tech revolution, that number, it's just kind of flat. Now, hold on. Let's look at the competition. 12%. We're talking Google Gemini's user base growing 6 times faster in the same amount of time. This is that dramatic shift in momentum we're talking about. It's not even a close race in terms of growth. One is taking a casual stroll, and the other is just flat-out sprinting. So let's zoom out and look at the whole playing field. Sure, if you look at overall market share, Copilot still has a tiny edge on Gemini. But honestly, that's yesterday's news. The number you really have to look at is in that growth column. Gemini is closing that gap at an absolutely incredible speed. And hey, look at Claude AI, growing even faster. This race is far from over, and you can see people are voting with their clicks. So, why? What is going on here? How did this happen? Well, it really boils down to 2 totally different ways of thinking, 2 completely different strategies. It's a classic showdown that feels a lot like that old story. You guessed it, the hare and the tortoise. Microsoft came out of the gate like a rocket. You could even say like a bull in a china shop. Their whole philosophy was ship it now, fix it later, just get it out there. Google, on the other hand, has played the long game. More patient, more thoughtful, really focusing on polishing its products and owning its entire tech stack, from the chips all the way up to the software. And look, this isn't just some high-level business school talk. This difference in strategy has a huge real-world impact on the quality of the products and what it's actually like for you, the user, to use them day to day. Let's look at a perfect example. Okay, let's try a little experiment. Imagine you ask your fancy AI assistant to do this. A simple, super common request for anyone who has to work with people in different places. I mean, this is literally what these tools are built for, right? To make our lives easier. So how do they do? And the difference is, well, it's night and day. Gemini, it just works. Schedules the meeting, done. Copilot 365, nope, can't do it. On the Outlook mobile app, it just doesn't have that skill. This is that speed versus polish idea in a nutshell. One product is finished, and the other one just isn't. And believe me, this is not just a one-off problem. We're seeing this quality gap pop up all over the place. People say Google's photo editing tools are light years ahead. They describe Gemini inside Google Apps as just feeling smarter, more intuitive. Meanwhile, Copilot sometimes fails at the simplest things, like giving you a link you can actually click on. All these little failures, these half-baked features, they're really starting to stack up. And this next part, this really puts a fine point on it. The real danger for Microsoft isn't just a few buggy features. The risk is that they end up with a brand reputation for poor quality, basically for being the new Internet Explorer. And once you get that label, man, it is so hard to get rid of it. Okay, so where does this all lead? What's the end game here? Because this isn't just about one product anymore. For Microsoft, the stakes couldn't be higher. We're talking about something that could affect the entire future direction of the company. Think about it. Every time they push out a product that doesn't quite work, they're not just shipping a bug. They're chipping away at decades of trusts they've built with customers. They risk becoming, well, just the plumbing, the ones selling server space for NVIDIA's powerful chips, instead of being the ones doing the real innovating. And if AI really is the next huge shift in computing, that's a massive, massive risk to take. Now, to be fair, it's not all doom and gloom. Microsoft is working on its own chips, stuff like Maya and Cobalt, to rely less on partners. But, and this is a big but, Microsoft has a bit of a track record of having these really cool, promising projects that just fizzle out. The real question is, can they actually follow through this time? And that really brings us back to the central question of this whole race. Microsoft's move fast and break things approach gave them a head start for sure, but Google's slower, more deliberate strategy seems to be creating a better, more reliable product. So as this next era of technology unfolds, what's going to matter more, being first or being right? The answer to that is probably going to define the next decade of tech.